Welcome, everybody, to our webinar today, the AI Metadata Assistant in the Metadata Editor. This is Yoel Kortic, Senior Librarian at Ex Libris, and we are joined today with Lily D. from Alma Product Management. Thank you, Lily, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join us. Lily, as I stated, is from Alma Product Management, and Lily will be monitoring the chat and answering any questions about deep technical issues or development plans, and we will allocate for Lily 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the session to discuss those development issues. The first 50 minutes or 45 minutes or maybe even 55 minutes will be dedicated to showing what is the AI Metadata Assistant, how is it used. We will do live examples of creating new records with the AI Metadata Assistant, as well as enriching existing records with the AI Metadata Assistant, and also talking about various features such as using a template, using a normalization rule, cropping the images, and all of this will become clear as we go along. Before we jump right in, a few minor administrative issues. This is part of the ALMA 2025 Roadmap webinar series, as I stated. I'm going to send out the link here, even though I know most of you, if not all, already have this link because I know people registered from here. So here we've got the accompanying resources, which is a PowerPoint presentation explaining this AI Metadata Assistant in depth with examples. And later today, there will be a link here to the recordings. You're also able to already sign up for next week's second session in the ALMA 2025 Roadmap series, which is Primo V Mixed Panel User Engagement Analytics. Here you've also got accompanying resources, and here you can register for either the Asia Pacific session or the Americas and Europe session. We've got more planned as well. We haven't put a date in yet, but we've got plenty planned for the 2025 Roadmap webinar series, so stay tuned. I will also point out that we have another exciting session coming up both in January and February on launching Specto. If you're not familiar with Specto and would like to become familiar with Specto, or if you are familiar and would like to learn more about it, feel free to attend these webinars. I've sent out links to both sessions in the chat. And I will remind everybody that here on the Ex Libris YouTube channel, I will send out the link to that. You can also find all of our recordings of the webinars. And for example, we will be creating a playlist for the ALMA 2025 Roadmap webinar series. Here's the playlist for the ALMA 2024 Roadmap webinar series. So we'll have a new one for the ALMA 2025 Roadmap webinar series. And finally, I will remind everybody about our customer education webinars page. Here too, you can sign up and view the recordings for our webinars. Here, for example, is the Primo V Mixed Panel User Engagement Analytics session for next week. So just in case somebody doesn't have this link, I will send that out as well. And that finishes all of our preliminary administrative matters, and now we're going to jump right in. So we have this PowerPoint. I will briefly be showing the PowerPoint. You can see there's a lot of topics, but what I'll be doing is examples in Alma, directly inside Alma without going slide by slide. I've got a stack, a big stack here of examples of different items. One of our favorites, career opportunities for people in library and information science, and a large genre of materials. We have the complete tales of Edgar Allan Poe. We have S.Y. Agnon, also known as Shai Agnon. We have Viktor Frankl and Man's Search for Meaning. We have Isaac Bashevis Singer, The Collected Stories. And we also have a Hebrew example because we want to show something in another script. So a large variety of genre, a large variety of different types of material. So we'll see how different types of material works here. So The first point is enabling the AI metadata assistant. In order for it to be enabled, in order to be able to use it, each institution needs to enable it. By default, it's not enabled. And in order to enable the AI metadata assistant, we come to configuration and resources. And under cataloging, we have the AI usage profile right here. Perhaps I'll make my screen a tad bigger. We have the AI usage profile. And within here, all we have to do is say yes. There's a message here on top about the AI usage profile. All we have to do is click yes, and it's enabled. Later in the session, we'll be talking about these options of using an override AI merge method in the Mark 21 normalization process. And we're going to put in a normalization process, and we'll see how that works as well. So that's the first step in being able to use the AI metadata assistant. The second step is any user who will be using the AI metadata assistant needs to have a profile, needs to have a role, which is, let's take a look, AI assisted cataloging. Here it is, AI assisted cataloging. This is a role on the institution level. Of course, the user also needs to have the role of cataloger, but that's because they're cataloging something. It doesn't have to do with AI. But in order to use the AI features, which we'll see are to create a new record using the AI metadata assistant and also being able to enrich an existing record with the AI metadata assistant, the user needs to have this role, AI assisted cataloging. So that's the first topic, enabling it. Say yes in the profile, give the user the role AI assisted cataloging, and we're good to go. So we can skip the introduction and we can skip the enabling the AI metadata assistant and required roles because we already stated everything that I just described. Okay. Now creating a new record using the AI metadata assistant. So we're going to start with a real live example here. We have in our hand, just like in the photograph here, we have two scholars who are in our town and other novellas by S.Y. Agnon, and that's going to be the first example we're going to do. Now, I also have images. It's possible, it's not mandatory, but it's possible to use images when using the AI metadata assistant. And I already took images for this two scholars who are in our town. Let's take a brief look at those. So I have a photograph of the table of contents. And let's make that a little larger too. I've got a photograph of the table of contents, a photograph of the back cover, and a photograph of the front cover. So we will use these as part of our creation of the record. So let's go into the metadata editor, show metadata editor, and let me release this record. So because we have, because I'm logged in as a user with the role AI assisted cataloging and the profile, the AI usage profile says yes, and because I'm in the records tab of the navigation pane as opposed to the templates, rules, or other tab, we have a new option here, create with AI assistant, which can also be activated via Alt-Shift-G. And let's begin. So this is the form. The title is the only mandatory form. So I'm going to put in this title, two scholars who are in our town. I could also put in the full title. It's two scholars who are in our town and other novellas. But let's say here, two scholars who are in our town. And I could put in the author, I could put in the ISBN, the content note, summary note, etc. And someone asked, why was my screen text pink? Is my screen text pink or was it pink? Okay, others are saying it wasn't pink for them. So maybe on your side there was an issue, but hopefully it's gone. So now we're going to put those files in here, those files of the images. Again, I'm only doing the title on purpose because we want to see how it works with that. I'm going to get rid of this template. We're going to show how to use the templates with it as well later. And I'm going to browse for the files. Later we'll do the drop a file. I'll browse for the files and let's put those in. So 2 scholars who are in our town, I'm adding these 3 images, the table of contents, back cover, front cover, and generate records. So now it's sending a job in the background. We can continue working. It's not preventing us from continuing. It's not taking our screen and spinning around and we need to wait. So we can go on and do whatever we'd like. This is the message we received. Let's take a look. Successfully submitted for AI processing. Please note that this may take a few moments, a few minutes. It takes between 40 and 70 seconds in my experience, between 40 seconds and a minute and 10 seconds. You may continue working in Alma as usual while the process runs in the background. When this finishes, we're going to get another message, which is going to be here. Oh, it's already done. You can see we got a message popping up here. The AI processing for 2 scholars who are in our town and other novellas. So he already knows the full title, even though I only put in 2 scholars who are in our town. And there's a link to go to the metadata editor. So if I was somewhere else, for example, maybe I already did a search here and I'm somewhere else entirely, I can always just get that message and just pop right in. I can take the message from here, or I can take the message from the real-time notifications, go to metadata editor, and that'll bring me right in to the record. So
Yoel,
yes.
I just wanted to mention anyone who's played around with the preview mode that was released in November, and what Yoel is showing is the full live version that is coming in February, which is much improved. The times are a little longer in February because we've added processes and changed the processing to improve the metadata that's being received. So you might wait a little longer for results to return, and hopefully you will see an improvement in the results as well.
Thank you, Lily. Okay, so what do we have here now? A full, beautiful record. We have a table of contents note. If you will recall, we loaded the table of contents as an image, and here we have our 520 table of contents note. We have RDA fields 264, 336, 337, 338. We have headings, which are here connected to Library of Congress subjects, Library of Congress names, a 655 genre form linked to Library of Congress genre and form terms, a added author, a series, and if I were to save this, I could just start doing an F3 and do things. Let me make this a tad larger. Someone said it's looking small. And if I save this, I don't have to save it. I could release it and decide I don't want it, or I could continue editing. So I saved that, and we see these headings did link, which means they were put in here as correct headings. And I could come and make some more changes if I want and then save again. In fact, I'm going to do that just because I want to show something that happens when we make changes in the view version. So I'm going to change this very briefly. I'm just going to take this, which doesn't have the, let me take it from here. I got to close that so I can see the whole screen. And so I'm going to take this one here, select without the author at the end. It left my subfield E. Just so I can make a change after my initial save. I'll do the same here
Yoel, could
because
you
I want to
zoom
show the
in a bit?
versions.
Because the chat is saying, and I agree, it's a little small to read.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought I did make it larger. Okay, now it's on 90. How's that?
Maybe a bit bigger?
There we go. Okay. So
Thank you.
now I'll save one more time. And now if I go to the view versions, you'll see here I no longer have an indicator that this was created with AI. And that's because someone may come along and overwrite it or merge it or do other activities. So it's really not after they do something else AI. However, if I come to the view versions, view related data view versions, I can see that this record was created with AI metadata. It's created by this is the user I'm logged in as with AI metadata. So there is an indication that that version that I'm doing the view all versions was created with AI metadata editor. So that's our first version. That's our first example. I'm going to do another example of creating one from scratch like we just did here. Then I'm going to stop and see if there's any questions or comments, but let's do one more version with a few different aspects, and then we'll see what's happening. Then we'll move on to the other features, which are enriching an existing record, using a template, and using a normalization process. Someone asks, is there a max number of records that we can create per month? Lily?
Um, there's no real limit. We've added a limitation just to make sure that the system is okay of about 1,000 uses a day. But right now, there's no limit. In the future, as usage grows and needs change, a limit may be introduced, but not at the moment.
Okay, thank you, Lily. So I'm not going to show everything in this PowerPoint on the first example because we just went through it all. We showed the images, we showed that we loaded things, we showed the message, we showed the new record, and we showed the beautiful fields that were added, the RDA fields, the correct headings, etc. Okay, our second example. So now we're going to move on to this one here. Oh, Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe. The complete tales and poems of Edgar Allan Poe. And again, we have an image. Let's go take a look at what we've got for this one. So here we've got the title page. And we've got, oh, that's the different one. We've got the title page. Ooh, let me close that. It's because that one was open too. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, we have the back cover, the front cover, and the title page. And you'll notice it's also not the best quality. This is an old one that once got some water in it. I won't explain how. But it's an example that is not a perfect image, but in any case, the AI metadata assistant knows how to handle it, how to deal with it. So let's give this one a try. It's the complete tales and poems of Edgar Allan Poe. Let's take this with us and let's open up a new one. So we're back in the metadata editor, and I will release this one just so we don't get confused. And we've got new create with AI assistant. We'll put in our title, the complete tales and poems of Edgar Allan Poe. And this time, instead of browsing the files where it says drop a file or browse files, let's drop our files. So we're going to take the back cover, the front cover, and the title page and come into our field, into our dialog box here, I guess I'd call it, and drop the files in. So now all we have is a title and the 3 images. Again, we could provide the AI with more information. We could give the author, the ISBN, content note, summary note, etc. But we're going to, on purpose, suffice with only a title and the 3 images. Let's see what's going to happen now. Okay, successfully submitted. So let's go take a look. While we're waiting for that, this time we'll see what happened here. So we have the item in hand. We have our 3 images. These are the 3 images I showed. We did create with AI assistant. The only thing we filled in was the title. We're going to talk about some other fields later. For example, the expand from template. We click the generate record. We got our message that the submission was successful. And in a moment, we're going to get, maybe we even already got it. We're going to get that message. This one here is the previous one. So let's get rid of that so we don't get confused. And let's take a look. So that is going to appear here. I can always see what's happening if I don't trust the coming of the, here it is, Complete Tales of Edgar Allan Poe. So it's already done. Here's our message here. And here is the new record saying it's AI generated. Let's go take a look. I'm going to click it. And what do we got here? Again, we have a contents note. Again, we have the RDA fields 264, 336, 337, 338. We've got Library of Congress subject headings. We see our 650 with second indicator 0. We have a 600 here, subject entry personal name, again linked to Library of Congress with the 0. We have the index terms of the genre form, second indicator 7, meaning my vocabulary is subfield 2, coming from Library of Congress genre and form terms. We could save this now and see if it immediately is going to get updated. Maybe I want to add a note here. Maybe I'll put in a local field or something. I will say, for example, F8, a new field. Maybe I'll put in some kind of a local field. Okay, just so I add something. And now I'm going to save it. No, I don't want to view the matching records. People were asking yesterday about the ISBNs. It added an ISBN as well. And you can see these all linked. The subjects linked. Horror fiction, the genre term linked. I see the author did not link. Let's take a look why. I'm not trying to hide and say, look, it didn't link. Okay, it didn't add the dates there. I'm just going to do select. And now it did. And this one, criticism and interpretation, I'm assuming here. We're also missing the dates. Let's take in the dates, select. Okay, so now I've made a little edit there. And our record is complete. So we still have the criticism and interpretation. I made a minor edit on the name, adding the dates. The other headings were automatically linked. And we've got everything else there. Let me say view versions. And again, we see here that we have an indication that the metadata came from AI. So that's our second example. Both of those examples were using the new record, a new create with AI metadata assistant. We also have the option to do update an existing one, and we also have the option to use additional functionality such as a template and a normalization rule, which we will get to. Lily, before I go on to the enriching a brief record, is there anything you want to point out from the chats?
I answered a couple of questions in the chat. One question came in regarding the 040 field, and the answer is the metadata suggestions are generated, they are not copied. So the 040 field, if it contains anything, it is false because the AI generates according to statistics. So if it had seen a lot of records with a certain 040, that's what it will generate. It is not the real provenance of the data that's being generated. And therefore, we're not providing an 040 as part of this. An 040 can be added from the template to represent the institution generating this record with the AI assistant and with the cataloger that adds and improves the information.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go on to enriching a brief record. And I made sure now I don't already have this record. So we're going to make a brief one and then enrich it. So now we're talking about Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. Now you can see what I meant when I said we have a large genre of different records. We've got everything from Edgar Allan Poe to S.Y. Agnon to Man's Search for Meaning. So let's make a very brief record, and then we're going to enrich it. All I'm going to put in my record now is a title and author. So let me make a new record now, just so I have something very brief. This will be Frankl without an L, Victor, and Man's Search for Meaning. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's save. And now I want to enrich this using AI. So let's see first, what do I already have here? I've got back cover, front cover, title page. Let's take a look. These are my images. That's the title page. And that's the back cover, and that's the front cover. Over 16 million copies sold. So now let's take these examples, and now we want to enrich. Until now, we've done new, create with AI Assistant. Now we're doing editing actions, enhance with AI Assistant. So we're not creating a new record, same MMS ID. And if there was inventory, same inventory will be there. All we're doing is enhancing the record. Not all we're doing like it's something small, but that's what we're doing. Okay, so the title is already filled in. It's taking the title from whatever was already in the record. That's what I have here. Sometimes there's also a statement of responsibility or a subtitle, subfield B, subfield C. Let's take a look. So we're going to browse those files. Let's get that Man's Search for Meaning back cover, front cover title page. Enrich the record, and let's see what's going to happen. Meanwhile, we'll go to the PowerPoint while that's working. So we did what it says here. We did editing actions, enhance with AI Assistant. We attached images. It's not mandatory. Click Enrich the record. If we don't attach images, it'll go based on the title and see what's there. So we saw here I'm doing a different, here I'm doing The Book of Love, a novel. We uploaded 2 images, and then I began using the Viktor Frankl Man's Search for Meaning. And here it is. Here, this is a little fuller than the one I used. Enhance with AI Assistant. Loaded our files, got our message, and let's see if it's done already. And, oh, that's the wrong one. Nope, we don't see ours yet, but we'll see it in a moment. Let's take a look.
So in the meantime, I'll
Yep.
answer a question in the chat. Someone said that they have seen wrong 300 fields created. And yes, the AI sometimes adds a 300 field, and it's often not accurate because the AI doesn't know really what the size of the book and how many pages it has. And we were asked if they can remove 300s and get them from the template. And Yoel will be showing the normalization process and the template, and the combination of that can be used to remove fields that the library doesn't want and to have them come in empty for the template so the cataloger will know to add them. So
Okay, yeah,
question,
we will
and
show that.
it's coming.
Okay, and as you see here, while Lily was talking, we already got our message. The AI processing for Man's Search for Meaning completed. Go to the metadata editor, and here we are. That link to go to metadata editor doesn't just go to the metadata editor. It's go to metadata editor and open the recent AI record. Okay, so what do we got here? Here we don't have a 300 field. So again, we've got the RDA fields 264, 336, 337, 338. We've got the subjects linked to Library of Congress. We have the genre form terms. Link to Library of Congress John R. form terms. Let's save this record just so. Oh, this is interesting. We have a contents note in French and we have a contents note in English. Very interesting. And let's save this. I believe that's French. Yes, it is. Let's save the record just to see what's going to happen here. And so our records linked, our headings, excuse me, linked, and everything's good. Someone asked about why certain fields were pink. Lily, before we answer that, maybe we'll wait until we use the normalization rules and the template for that because it might be easier to explain.
Yeah, sure.
Or whatever you prefer. Okay. So person who asked about the pink fields, we will discuss that. Let's wait. All right. So that's the enriching a brief record. Very similar to creating a new record. You put in the data. Actually, you don't put in the data. It takes the title from what you already have, but you put in the images. If desired, it goes, enriches the record, and everything's good. I want to see here on my view versions. Now we've got something interesting. The previous one was not created with AI. The previous one was my original brief record, so it doesn't say anything here. I'm going to make a little change here just for the fun. Let's do an F3 on this field, and let's select that one, and let's save. And let's add another field here. And let's say signed by the author, save. Okay, let's get rid of that. And now I've got these. Now these were not created with AI metadata, but this one, only one of them, I've got 3 records. This is the first one. This is my original brief record. Then I enriched it. So this one knows that it was enriched with AI metadata editor. Then I went and did an F3 and made a change and added a 900. So then I've got this one here without the AI metadata editor. So it still knows of a specific version what came with the AI metadata editor. Okay, or with the AI metadata. So that's the enriching. Any questions or comments on enriching before we move on to our next example, which is using a template? And now I'm gonna use a 300 field in my template. So I'll move on now. I don't see any questions specifically about the enrich, or maybe Lily already took care of them. So let's move on to the expand. Expand from template. So let's first of all see my template. I've got a template ready here. I'm going to release this record. And let's go to the template. So templates, Mark 21 bib, shared. I have one here called AI Metadata Assistant, and I'm going to edit that one. Let's add in a 300 field. Let's say I want a subfield A with XX pages. Let's even do something nice. I'll come in here and I'll go to the 300 and I'll just take a little example from here. Here's a nice one. So this will be my sample 300. And I'll even put a note here. Okay. So that's my template. I've got a 300 field that it's going to add, and I've got a 900 field saying how it was created. It was created using new create with AI assistant in the metadata editor. And of course, I've got my 008 there with the 2025, and I've got a leader. So that's my template. And let me get out of there. Let me release all these records. And I just want to confirm, I come to templates, I come to edit, and that's my template. Wonderful. So now we're going to do the same thing. Let's take now a day in the life, career options in library and information science. This has, by the way, a whopping 443 pages of career options in library and information science. So there's a lot we can do with our degrees in library and information science. Let's see what we got here. So I've already got the images. We've got 3 images here. We've got the back cover, the front cover, and the title page. That we're going to use soon when we show the cropping. So let's do it. A day in the life, career options, and library and information science. And let's begin. Records new, create with AI assistant. Got my title here. And let's get the files, browse files. And now we're going to use the template that we just saw. So we're saying expand from template. And we called ours AI Metadata Assistant. So now this is new. We haven't done this so far. We're saying expand from template AI Metadata Assistant and generate the record. Let's generate. So now we should get that 900 field, which we see here. We should get the 300 field. Let's go to the PowerPoint meanwhile while we did that. By the way, it's sticky. Like I say here in the yellow thing here, it's sticky, meaning next time someone comes, or next time the same user comes and does create with AI Metadata Assistant, it will automatically be filled in there. And so we did that. We added the 3 images. We used a different one. We used a day in the life, career options in library and information science. Here's its 2 scholars who were in our town. We're going to get the message that it's created, and we're going to see that certain fields were added. Let's go take a look. And here's our one successfully submitted. Okay, it's all done. There we go. We got our message. Go to the metadata editor. You can see here in our real-time notifications, we also have an indicator that there's something new. Here it is. Let's go take a look at it. Perfect. So we've got our 300 field. Okay, now we have the colors. You'll notice the pink are the ones, Lily, do you want to describe this? But I'll just say a small
Yes.
thing, that the 300 and the 900 are not pink. But go ahead, Lily.
Yes, I will say this. When you create a record using a template, which is the recommended practice, and you have access to the templates you have when you do a new record and you see a list of templates so that you can use it for different resources, books, CDs, things like that. The fields that are coming from the AI will be pink, or I see it as purple, to give the cataloger an indication of what came from the template and what came from the AI. The same thing when you enrich a record, the additions, the suggestions from the AI will be purple to give the cataloger an indication of what to review and what already existed in the record. Once the cataloger reviews it and saves it, it's removed. The things that are orange, those are warnings. You can see below there are warnings. So this 900 field that came from the template, we don't bring local fields from the AI, has a not valid first indicator for field 900. And whether a field came from the template or from the AI, if there's a warning, that trumps the indication, because that definitely needs to be reviewed. So that gets the warning color. And while I'm speaking, I will say someone asked, will the merge ever override the library's data? So out of the box, no. Out of the box, we're only adding things from the AI when we merge an existing record with AI suggestions. And we only add them if they are repeatable or if they're non-repeatable and they don't already exist in the library's record. But as Yoel has shown before, in February, you will be able to configure your own merge method. The library's record is the preferred record, and you can decide what to bring or not to bring and in which scenarios from the AI suggestions, the same as when you use any other external resource to enrich your records.
Okay, thank you, Lily. I think that covers it. So we have successfully created a record with the AI Metadata Assistant, and we have added the fields, in this case, a 900, a 300, and an LDR, excuse me, 008, or fields from the template, let's say. So now the cataloger will know this is the 300, they can do whatever they want with, and here's our 900. Okay, next, a normalization process. So now we want to change something in the record. Maybe we want to remove a certain field. Maybe we want to add a certain field. We can see, for example, many times a 655 was added. We can see all the time, I didn't point it out actually, every record had a 588 added. Part of the metadata in this record was created with the help of AI. And maybe we want to run a normalization rule which would delete certain fields or change certain fields or change indicators. Maybe every 650 that has, or 655 that has second indicator 7 we want to get rid of, whatever. Maybe in our case, we want to change when it says AI in the 588 field, we want to change it to artificial intelligence. Or maybe we want to change it to AI parentheses artificial intelligence for whatever reason. So let's see how that's done. First of all, I have a normalization rule. Let me get rid of this record. I have a normalization rule. I'm going to come to the rules, normalization, and here I have a rule which is called YLK replace AI with artificial intelligence. Very simple rule. It says replace contents in the 588 subfield A, replace space AI with space artificial intelligence. If it says there part of the metadata, blah, 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 with the help of AI. So let's do that one. Oops, wrong browser. By the way, I've got this. I'm not going to go through the whole configuration of how to make a normalization process, but I took that normalization rule and made that part of a normalization process. The normalization process is called the same as the rule. This is it here, and you'll see it's called YLK, replace AI with artificial intelligence, and it uses that rule that we just saw. So inside the AI usage profile, which we already saw, which is under configuration resources, cataloging, AI usage profile. We're going to add now the Mark 21 normalization process. Save, back. Now, I don't think I need to log out and log in, but I always like to log out and log in after making a change like that. So let's now log in again. I am Alicia. And let's now combine two different functionalities. We have another functionality. We're going to show this normalization process, but there's another functionality where I can crop something. So for example, I have here another one, Isaac Bashevis Singer, The Collected Stories. And when I took the picture of it, I got it mixed up with a bunch of, not mixed up, but together with several other ones. So I could now crop this and then use a new one. However, I can also crop the record during the creation. Let's see what we mean. So now we're going to come back to the metadata editor. We have the normalization rule going. And let's say new Oh, not new normalization. I got to go to the records tab. New, create with AI metadata assistant. So this is going to be called Isaac Bashevis Singer, The Collected Stories, or The Collected Stories of Isaac Bashevis Singer. Let me at least see the title page, be a proper librarian, and see what it's really called. The Collected Stories of Isaac Bashevis Singer. And let's put that in. So now I'm going to take that file that needs to be cropped. And I can crop it right here. So here we have options. One is to remove the image or delete the image, and another one is to crop it. So let's crop this image. You can see I've already got the little marks here to be able to crop it. And I will carefully crop it. And there we go. Oh, here's my glasses. All right. And here we go. That looks like a good crop. Make that a tad longer. Okay, save the crop. And now we're going to generate the record. Notice I said it's sticky before, so it automatically put in the template. I'm going to get rid of the template now. So we're not mixing too many things. We got the template, the cropping. Let me click generate. The template, the crop, the normalization rule, and the cropping. But we're just mixing two joyous occasions, as they say. We're mixing the cropping and the normalization process. So now it's taking that cropped record, that cropped file, which I cropped during the loading of it. I didn't crop it beforehand. I used the Alma capabilities of the cropping, and we also have the normalization process. Again, just as a reminder, while we're waiting, oh, it's already ready. We put that normalization process here under configuration, resources, AI usage profile. And let's go take a look because our record is ready. So here we are, AI generated, a nice record, and you can see here it changed the AI to artificial intelligence. All of the other records had part of the metadata, and this record was created with the help of AI. Now we have created with the help of artificial intelligence. So the normalization process worked. And we also know that the cropping worked. It successfully went, brought us all these nice Library of Congress headings, brought us the author, brought us the RDA fields 264, 336, 337, 338. I'm going to save that record just to see what's going to happen. And I see that all of my Library of Congress subject headings were correct. My 600 name was correct. I see the 100 didn't link, but like we've been doing, I can do a post AI. There we go. I'll take it right from here. And everything is done. We save one more time. Everything is good. I'm going to do the view versions. Here it's still AI, not artificial intelligence. My normalization rule changed the 588 field of the bibliographic record. This is the administrative information. So that was the cropping. We used the normalization process. Very simple normalization rule just to show that it's working. We changed the AI to artificial intelligence and we saw that it really happened. And we also showed while doing that we can crop the image. So if you don't get a perfect image and it's mixed with other things, you can crop it and everything will work there. Non-Latin scripts. Let me do one more example here. So I have now a very well-known book, Sefer Chatat. I don't know, it's well-known in certain circles, let's say. And so this is in Hebrew, and the title is in Hebrew. The whole book is in Hebrew. I chose Hebrew simply because it's a non-Latin script, which I understand. And it also has in it a abbreviation with a quotation mark because we want to really try to see the capabilities of this AI metadata assistant. So let's do this one here. I will release these records. Everything now is released. I have the images again. I've got this one, and this one. Let's take a look. So we've got the title page, the front cover, and this is the title page verso, or as they used to write on the cataloging cards, TP verso. Because this is also giving important information. And let's go and do it. So let's say metadata editor, new. I've still got my normalization rule running too. Create with AI assistant. So I'm going to put it in Hebrew and I'm putting it with this quotation mark. Oops, sorry, I did caps
Yeah.
lock. Yeah. Okay. This is simply when making abbreviations in Hebrew, we use the quotation marks, but it's an additional way to show what is the AI doing. Browse files, and let's say here we want these three. Open. So we've got the three images, we've got the title in a non-Latin script with a character which is not a letter. It was a quotation mark. So we have our item in hand, just like here, different background, but same item. We loaded the cover, the title page, and the verso title page. We loaded all three images. We have our non-Latin script. We generated the record. We get our initial message here that it was successfully submitted, may take a few minutes. And I haven't seen it take a few minutes. I've seen it, it's always less than 2 minutes, sometimes a little more than a minute, but never more than that. We've actually got the recording here, so we can see how long exactly it took. But I was looking at my watch, anywhere between 40 and 70 seconds, and I never experienced a longer one than that, which means we will in 1 moment or two get it. We're going to get a message like this with a link to the metadata record, and we're going to see what happened. Let's go see. And there she is. She's done. Here's our message. Here's our record. Go to metadata editor, and it opens. So what do we got here? Very nice record. It put in a more descriptive title, which is correct. He said, what is the meaning of this abbreviation? The right to left, that's not related to the AI. Hebrew is a right to left language. As soon as you click on a field, it aligns correctly. It added a addition, a 264, 336, 337, 338. It changed AI to artificial intelligence. We're using the normalization rule that changes the artificial intelligence within a non-Latin script. It added a series, and it added several alternate graphic representations in the 880s. So for example, here I've got my title in Hebrew, and here it made my 245 in an alternate graphic representation. Same thing with my addition, which is in Hebrew, puts it here in Latin script, 264, 490, and the 830 it did as well. So everything worked properly. Okay, Lily, I'm going to turn it over to you now. I will stop sharing. If you want to share, go ahead. If you just want to talk, that's fine too.
I have 5 minutes, so I'll make it quick. One thing, Boaz asked why the Hebrew example didn't have any purple indications. Yoel removed the template. Everything came from the AI. There was no different sources, so there was no need to mark what came from which source. There were a few questions about where the data comes from. Can this handle very new books? Can this handle very old books? What is the 520? How is the 520 created? So I'll address that really quickly. The main source of data is what the cataloger provides. So if I enter data or if I include images that have the data, like the title verso, like the table of contents, like the back cover, um, or like I said, in February, it will be possible to upload a short PDF like vendor descriptions that some libraries have um, for certain types of books. Then that is what's mostly being used to generate the data. However, if it's an older and well-known piece, the AI may know it. It may exist in its training data. It likely exists in its training data, and it will be able to add some information from its own knowledge of the resource. Or if you're cataloging Lord of the Rings, um, you will probably get additional metadata to what you've supplied just because it heard about Tolkien, right? If you're cataloging a very new book, something from 2024 that does not exist in the training data, what you will get is mostly what from what you've provided, meaning the images of the book. But we have tested with very new books. I've also tested with CDs and stuff like that, and it does work. The data is being generated, meaning sometimes the AI does make things up. We're trying to improve how that works, to reduce generated data that is not based on what the library provides, the librarian provides. We're continually enhancing and improving the generated metadata. And if you have feedback on the generated metadata, please do use the feedback button on the AI generated drafts so that we will know and be able to use that to improve and enhance the different use cases.
Maybe I'll share for a moment just to show them that I didn't point that out earlier. Up here,
Yeah.
the feedback, right up here, there's a
Okay.
feedback
You can
button.
give a score and you can also add a comment saying why you think it was good or not. It gets to us, we look at it to try and understand use cases and where the AI may need to be more subtly directed. And um, Yoel, don't submit that. It will create noise in my data. Please don't. But we encourage you to submit feedbacks. And regarding our plans, we've had questions about languages, formats, other vocabularies other than Library of Congress. We are working on that. That is on our roadmap. We will be doing projects with libraries that are interested because it's more complicated. The AI's ability to process different languages differs. We need to have a project to assess the quality, to understand its abilities. It does improve all the time. So even if we're not able to provide the service for certain languages, now we're using commercial LLMs. We're currently using ChatGPT 4.0, and it is improving with languages. So we hope that we will be able to support more and more languages as we go. But we do want to make sure that librarians get quality metadata. So we'll be working with the community. It's a slow process, but it's on our way. And if you're interested, if you want to know more, I'm putting my email in the chat and you can drop me an email and I will be happy to talk more. I've been talking to libraries all around the world about this, and I'm always happy to meet and discuss the abilities and the plans. What's coming definitely this year is better granularity of what you ask the AI. So a librarian can say, well, I'm only uploading the table of contents now. I want the table of contents added to a brief record. I don't want all the other data that I will need to remove. I don't want the noise. Can you just ask the AI for the table of contents? The AI may provide more. It sometimes shows initiative, but we can limit what we ask. So that is coming in the future. Everything that Yoel has shown today is coming in February in the official go live of this feature. And we are looking at options for bulk processing and like I said, more languages, more vocabularies, things that the AI may not know as well. So we need alternative solutions or creative solutions for, and we'll be working with the community to understand how best to do that. And it's on the way.
Okay, so we will be posting the recording both to the YouTube and to the 2025 Roadmap Webinar Series page. We'll be sending out a message to the Alma list when that's done. And thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you next week for the mix panel. Take care and have a nice day.